Need to make a couple amendments, adjustments to the agenda. First, trustee Brown is absent tonight, so let the minutes show that. Item 8I, the ratification of Chess for Kids independent contractor. The contract was not included in the agenda, so it is in the back, and then all the trustees have been given a copy of it in your board packet. Item 10C, for the revision of certificated management salary schedule, section 7, this one here. On the attachment, it says middle school principal. It should say middle school assistant principal. Middle school principal is up above higher with elementary principal. Alrighty. All right, can I get a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I'll motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. We will now convene to closed session. reconvene at 6:02. There was no report of action taken in closed session. I would like to invite our students up for the flag salute.
Please stand for the pledge. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, in liberty and justice for all.
Someday.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. So we are opening our meeting in honor of a teacher that we recently lost. His name was Matthew Martin Samuelson, and I'm going to read a little bit about him and hopefully get through this. Matthew Martin Samuelson was a beloved son, brother, husband, father, and friend, known for his kindness, humor, and compassion. He had a deep love for his family, teaching, and community, inspiring many through his dedication to education and mentoring youth in the Phoenix program at Rancho Cotati High School. I learned the other day that he often commented that he had taught every grade except second. Matt's passion for problem solving extended into his love of puzzles and games. He started the Knights of the Lunch Table Game Club. He practiced Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He was an avid Star Wars and Marvel Comics fan. Matt's life was filled with love for fiction, fantasy, and adventure, sharing these passions with his students, family, and friends through games and stories. Music was also an important part of his life. He fought a brief but courageous battle and passing away surrounded by his wife, Emily, and his parents. His legacy of love and support and inspiration will live on in the lives of those he touched, including his 3 children, Alexander, Benjamin, and Natasha. Matthew will be remembered for his tremendous love and advocacy for both people and animals. He leaves the world a better place for everyone because of his effects on others. On Wednesday, the staff in Cotati Roanoke Park is honoring him by dressing up as their favorite Star Wars or Marvel comic character. And if you participate, please take a picture and send it to Jen Canales or Deb McCampbell, and we'll be sharing that with his family. So thank you for allowing me to share a little bit about Matt.
Next up, we have special recognitions and presentations. I'd like to invite up the students from Richard Crane Elementary to present The Jungle Book.
Do you have the next slide? Or should I have not? My slide. My slides first, we'll miss the set. Next one, and that's the music. All right. I just want to first share with you our excitement of how we're able to use some of.
Hold on one second, I don't think your microphone's on.
Maybe it is.
Oh,
and I
now
don't.
you are. Okay, there you go.
I'll use a louder voice. Richard Crane's excited to share with you how we're using some of our Prop 28 money for the visual and performing arts. It directly relates to our LCAP goals, number 1 and 2, as part of the social emotional learning, but also improving student achievement. So when we're looking at the performing arts standards, We're looking at Standard 6, and the essential question is, what happens when theater artists and audiences share a creative experience? So we're going to be bringing our whole entire school on a walking field trip to the TAG building with our students performing. And then for Anchor 8, how can the same work of art communicate different messages to different people? So we'll be able to have lots of good conversations and reflection on those experiences. So we'll be coming here using the TAG building, not on the 18th, but the 19th, to an evening performance. We'll have the day performance and then an evening performance. So we have some students that would like to sing for you the finale.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, you guys did a fantastic job. Oh, I just want to keep them up here all day. Let's do that more often.
The
Okay.
tune is stuck in my head.
I know. So if you guys see me bopping along, I'm just going to sing in my head the rest of the meeting. All right. Well, thank you, Richard Frame, for coming. That was fantastic, and we look forward to seeing your play. All right, next we have our student board member reports. For Rancho Cotati, we have Haley Tran.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Haley Tran, and I'm this year's school board representative for Rancho Cotati High School. Starting off with student culture, this year we had our first club rush on August 27th. We hold multiple club rushes throughout the year to bring inclusivity and diversity onto our campus. We had several different clubs ranging from book club to cultural clubs, We had Asian Pacific Islander Club, Black Student Union, Robotics, Environmental Club, Girls League Club, Book Club, and so many other clubs. Last week we had our first Spirit Week. It was our Welcome Back Spirit Week, so it was under the sea themed. Monday we had no school. Tuesday was Ocean Wave Day, so we were able to wear any shade of blue. Wednesday was Beach Bag Day, so it was beach bags, coolers, etc. Thursday was Stay Afloat Day, so we were able to wear floaties, goggles, and beachwear. Friday was Sea Creatures. Freshmen were sea turtles, so they were green. Sophomores were jellyfish, so they were pink. Juniors were sharks, so they were blue. And seniors are crabs, so they were red. And staff were starfish, so they were yellow and orange. We also had our Welcome Back Rally, which was also under the sea themed. We had performances from band, dance team, cheer, and choir. We also had fall team sports captains, club presidents, and associated student body introductions. The rally was overall an amazing experience with a bunch of student interaction and great performances. Recognition and appreciations. We have a Rancho staff spotlight. So to recognize our staff and teachers, we have a weekly staff spotlight where we show our appreciation to our staff on campus. So far, we have 2 staff spotlights, Ms. Schwinn, who teaches Spanish, and Mr. Transu, who teaches Law and Justice and is our new athletic director. Thank you for everything that you do. Next, we have Athlete of the Week. This week's Athlete of the Week is Gio Martinez. Gio is a senior on varsity, and he's a running back and defensive back. Gio led the team to victory over Ukiah Friday night. Congratulations, Gio, and keep working hard. Next, we have Talent of the Week. Our Talents of the Week was Bobby Gregori and Kylie Daniels. Bobby has a talent for horseback riding, and Kylie has a talent for art. Congratulations to both. And we also would like to say a special appreciation to our beloved teacher, Mr. Samuelson, who recently passed away. He was a Phoenix teacher and had a major impact on the students and staff at Rancho. Mr. Samuelson was known for his dedication, kindness, and positive influence on the Rancho community. He will forever be missed, and his absence will be deeply felt. Next, we have advertisements. So we have been advertising our ASB cards and dance bundles all like the start of the school year. The ASB card can give you discounts to sports games, merchandise, dance tickets, and so much more. It is valid throughout the year. The dance bundles can save students $20 to $35 on our school dances, such as homecoming, prom, and winter formal. There's a difference between the dance bundle for freshmen, sophomores, where they can save $20, and the dance bundle for juniors and seniors, where they can save $35. And upcoming events, we have our first blood drive on September 19th. Rancho is the leading blood donor high school in Sonoma, Napa, Marin, Mendocino, and Lake counties. Wow. Students must be 16 and older to donate, and if they donate 6+ more times, they'll be able to earn a Vitalant honor cord to wear at graduation. Thank you.
Thank you, Haley. For Tech High, we have Sam O'Halloran.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Sam O'Halloran. I'm the Public Relations Officer at Technology High School for ASB's term of 2024 to 2025, and this is my presentation on August at Tech High. So, to start off the year and to welcome new freshmen, ASB and student volunteers host a program called Summer Bridge, and here are some photos. Focused on bridging the gap between middle school and high school. Bridge is in total a 7-day event where 4 days, the Bridge leaders work together to prepare the curriculum, get to know each other, and prepare labs. Then the following 3 days, freshmen are on site creating strong initial bonds, participating in fun events with one another, like the Great Race and their first school rally, as well as touring the campus. This summer, with the addition of a new principal and assistant principal, as well as 6 new teachers, we had the opportunity to have many different staff introductions for the freshmen, as well as some returning students who decided to volunteer. Summer Bridge was a huge success this year with over 90% of the incoming freshmen attending, and we look forward to continuing this tradition at Tech High. As for the first day back to school was a positive and productive start to the school year. Students arrived prepared to learn, and teachers were ready to engage, making the overall atmosphere welcoming and very enthusiastic. Though getting used to the individual class schedules every year is a difficult challenge, everyone seemed to get a grasp on it, and it's been going smoothly so far. It was encouraging to see the new students finding their way around campus and meeting new students. Teachers reported high levels of engagement, which sets a promising tone for the months ahead. So here are some photos of the school community, and you can see photos from freshmen all the way up to seniors. As far as what our student representatives had to say in ASB, freshmen said, quote, "The bridge was fun and it helped me meet a lot of people, both underclassmen and older classmen. He felt comfortable and helped with the transition into high school. I created bonds with upperclassmen and it was a great time." Sophomores, being in PLTW2 this year, which is our second engineering class, is a little bit harder than the first, but I'm having a great time. Juniors, the transition from sophomore year to junior year is very hard. Juggling sports and sudden APs is also very hard. And then seniors, it's been hard to manage the course load with college applications, but I've been having a lot of fun with Senior Sunrise and different senior events that are going to be planned later down the road, like spot painting and breakfast. As for having a new principal and assistant principal, Alexander Vo, the commissioner of the media committee in ASB, got to interview the principal and assistant principal for our weekly video at Tech High, and he had a lot of fun, and we got to see the principals in action at the school, and it seemed like a very effective way to introduce them to the student body. So we also had our first Spirit Week of the year. You can see this is one of the graphics that we had made for the social media. Started off with Pajama Day, which is a classic. We saw a lot of engagement with this one, and here are a few photos of students that were posted on the Instagram. On Wednesday, we had Country versus Country Club Day. You can see students dressing up in whatever side that they prefer. This was our most popular day, and according to a few senior teachers, this was the most popular Spirit Day that they've ever seen teachers and faculty actually dress up in, so that was kind of something special. Here's Tropical Thursday, where kids got to wear their tropical gear, like Lay's, Hawaiian shirts, sunglasses, stuff that are in that theme. And then on Friday, we had a Tech High's first ever class colors, which was planned by the Spirit Commissioner, Matt, and this Spirit Day was super exciting. For the first time, class colors were assigned, and we had freshmen as black, sophomores as white, juniors as green, and seniors as blue. This Spirit Week led into one of two things, one being the lunchtime rally. The lunch rally was a huge success compared to last year, with inclusion and representation being a big part of this year's back-to-school rally. Our Associated Student Body representatives participated in a water balloon game, where the student body got the chance to throw water balloons at all of them, and students were welcomed back. The turnout was huge, and it showcased the unity and representation that we have at Tech High. Our student body went through a total of 420 water balloons at lunch, and right after, there was a big cleanup, and students gave ASB an extra hand. Now, ASB had hosted their first town hall of the year. This is a new event planned by the student body liaison, Joseph Huffaker. The ASB Town Hall is an in-person forum held at various lunches throughout the month, and it's a dedicated time for class representatives to interact with students in their grade, and it increased the representation of students' thoughts, feelings, and opinions by providing a direct line of communication to the reps. This was a huge success, and we're looking forward to our next one. As for sports at Tech High, fall sports have begun. That includes varsity soccer, varsity girls soccer, and boys, cross country, as well as JV volleyball and varsity volleyball. Finally, we had the school mixer this year, and this was held for our fall event. This event is aimed for underclassmen to meet other students and start the school off right. I hold this event very close to my heart because I got to host it last year, and This year, it was a great time with 99 tickets being sold. We continue the tradition of having lawn games, Kona Ice, Mi Pueblo, as well as a volleyball tournament. This year's grand prize was a JBL speaker for each of the winning players of the first place team. Students reported having a great time, and they enjoyed socializing and meeting new people. It went so well that we're actually going to be hosting a spring one for the first time in Tech High's history later in the second semester. And that's it for my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Next, we have trustee reports on activities. Trustee Johnson.
It was a quiet month in August.
I think so. Trustee Nelson.
I don't have anything to report other than I'm looking forward to the Jungle Book.
Yeah. Trustee Martin.
No report.
All right. 4 for 4. Here we go. Superintendent's report. Superintendent Eatery.
Good evening, everyone. So I think I made it to almost all the back-to-school nights except the ones on August 28th, where Assistant Superintendent Fields was able to attend those back-to-school nights. The classrooms looked great. The energy was awesome. Good attendance in every school. So really good to see the parents engaging on our school campuses. I also attended the Ed Foundation event, which was the back-to-school event, which was lovely. We had 50 or 60 folks there, and the Ed Foundation just does such a nice job for us and welcoming us back, and the grants that they provide. So Vera and Dan do this, completely out of their good heart for our schools and our students. It's an all-volunteer run organization, and Principal Ruffoni is our liaison to the Ed Foundation, so we thank her for her service as well. I also went to a community schools meeting at John Reed, and as they are getting the work up and running, they were able to hire a full-time counselor and a person for their wellness center. So that's exciting. We are going to apply for community school grants for the other 4 schools that we tried for last year and hoping better success this year, but we're gonna work on that. I also started site visits, and that's been really great to be in classrooms and see all the learning that's happening. And the last thing that I want to mention is we are having it is called a special board meeting, but it is our safety meeting, and it's on October 1st. It'll be at the Rancho Library from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. It's where there'll be listening circles, a little bit of information provided by me, and then listening circles, and an opportunity for the board to hear from the public. We can assume we know what's happening, but it's important for us to hear from people who are in the schools, so we're inviting teachers, parents, students, staff to join us that evening. There'll be some guiding questions, and it's really an opportunity to, then the board will hold a meeting afterwards and kind of talk a little bit about what they heard. We hope that our student board members can be there and bring other students with you, because we would love to hear from them and their experience. So that is on October 1st. The invitation has been out in our newsletter, but just also a public invitation to everyone. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. All right. For the Roanoke Park Cotati Educators Association, we have Lisa Bauman.
Thank you. I think we're all on the same wavelength tonight, like short and sweet. I can't believe I felt better after talking to Jen that it's only been like 2 weeks since the last time we got here, roughly. So we are in the thick of it. Everyone is settled in and working hard. I've also started my site visits. I've been to Monte Vista, Richard Crane, and Thomas Page, and there's just like a buzz about, everywhere, and it's been nice. I'm doing my site visits a little different this year, and I'm just kind of sitting in the staff lounge, so I'm meeting a lot of other staff members that I don't normally get to talk to, so I'm meeting a lot of paras and the office staff and even campus monitors, which has been really nice. I also went to the Ed Foundation event. It was lovely, and they really do a great job supporting our educators in the district, and we're grateful for that. I just wanted to acknowledge how grateful we all were here at Rancho for the district's response to Matt's passing, the support that was here, and all of the extra people that were on campus were really appreciated, not just for our students, but for our staff. I felt that we felt very taken care of, and that you really were looking out for us, so thank you. So even though I don't have too much to report on so far, I imagine that it's going to be ramping up. So we've got LAMP coming up on Thursday, our first LAMP meeting. So I'm really looking forward to that, and seeing where our work takes us this next year and what problems we want to really focus on. And you're gonna see that we are jointly sunshining tonight, us in the district, with the articles that we didn't get to last year, and I'm excited about that. We've actually had our own bargaining leadership team meeting last night to just kind of talk about things that we wanted, that we feel like will want to be at the top of the list, and our hot topics, so to speak. And I'm so excited that our first bargaining session is scheduled for October 1st. Like, never in my entire time that I've been here have we started bargaining so early. So I'm super excited about that. And we have our first representative council meeting tomorrow. So that's where each site has reps that come to a monthly meeting, and that's where we share out and I share out what I've been doing and what we're hearing from from CTA statewide, and also our regional group. That's also where I hear a lot of site concerns. And so I will be sharing those with Maite and Jen and Jamal and Rachel at Meet and Confer, and I'll also pass those on to you next month, just so that you can have an idea of like what's going well and what teachers are struggling with. And I'm excited that we've got some new people stepping up, so some new faces in Rep Council, and so I think that some of the newer, younger teachers are realizing like, okay, I can do this now, so we're excited about that. And I think that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm excited to go home and watch the debate. Maybe. I think I'm excited.
Just get some popcorn.
Yes. Good night.
Thanks, Lisa. All right, we have no report from SEIU. No, we do. We don't have a CSEA report, but I think Bryna is back there.
Yeah.
Yay, it's lovely to see you.
Hello.
We have Bryna here with SEIU.
Hi. So I'm Bryna Wigmore, president of SEIU. I represent most of the assistants in the school district. And I don't usually give a report, so this is my once a year thing. So, but I felt it was important to take a moment and update our unit members and the community on our contract negotiations with the district and the ways that the district and our partners in labor have come together to improve communication and create conversations that are positive, collaborative, and promote transparency. So over the summer, our negotiating team met with the district and reached a tentative agreement. We brought that to our members, and they overwhelmingly approved it to ratify it. And and I wanted to thank Ekaterini Grant and Kara Dennison for joining our negotiating team for the second time and helping us to reach this agreement. I also want to thank the district for introducing us to IBB, which is interest-based bargaining. And this really helped us with our communication and allowed us better ways of collaborating with the district and having some transparency. And I would also like to thank the district for suggesting that, but also bringing in trainers to help us and allowing us to go view Chico and see training, and also including our other labor partners, which was RIPSIA and CSEA. So we all went as a team, and it was nice because it was the entire district. And so I thought that really made a giant difference because it wasn't just one union, it wasn't just the district, it was all of us collaborating. And I thought that really promoted unity, and I thought it was very important. And also over the last year, we've been meeting with the district and our labor partners for LAMP, which Lisa just mentioned. And I thought that's been very important. And I thought it was great that we had the luau last year for the district. We had a lot of staff come, and I thought that was wonderful. So I've noticed a lot of great change in the district, and it's very exciting. We've seen it as a district, but it's great to see, like, I want the community to hear about it. I want our parents and students to start seeing it. So I'm excited for what the year's gonna hold, and so I just wanted to say welcome back, and welcome back to our parents and students, and I look forward to a wonderful school year. Oh, and I didn't get to say, though, that we did have a great negotiation, and our members voted. It's a 2.93% pay raise for all of our 144 members, with an additional 0.07% for our campus supervisors. Each negotiation, we try and recognize one extra little bit of our unit that does extra. And so we wanted to really recognize our campus supervisors who keep our students and staff and the community safe. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we have receipt of official correspondence, certificate of elections.
This is great news. Our trustees, we had 4 up for reelection. All 4 are committed to running, and no one is opposing them, so they are officially, will continue as our board trustees for the next 2 years for a couple and 4 years for others. But thank you all for signing on to keep the momentum going. I appreciate it.
Yay. I said I wasn't going to do this again. Here I am. All right, you are. All right, next we have public comment. I'd like to call to the podium Alexis Borelli. Oh, there you are. Hi. Yeah, you go right there, and it should be on.
Okay, sorry. This is
Yeah,
my
you're
first
on.
time.
You're good. No, it's okay.
I'm short, so I'm probably gonna have to hold this. I'm sorry, guys. Hi, my name is Alexis Borelli. I've actually been a parent in your district for 8 years now. We have so far had such an incredible experience. I'm speaking for a lot of parents who weren't able to be here today because of the hour, unfortunately. Luckily, I've never had to see you guys before. This is my first time. I can honestly say this is the first time, though, that I've felt let down or disappointed in my son's school. Your community is only as strong as the most vulnerable and at-risk population, as the most vulnerable and at-risk population is supported. And right now, that vulnerable and at-risk population at Rancho is drowning. As parents, we don't feel safe sending our kids to understaffed classes where the conditions set in their IEPs aren't followed or respected, where our children aren't being monitored regardless of their level of need, where we don't feel our concerns are being addressed by staff, and where our teachers are given less than a $50 budget to provide for an entire classroom. But also as parents, we want to keep our children who have been together since first grade together. I'm speaking for 6 of us right now. It's been really devastating because we love this school. We're all huge supporters of staff. If you ask any of the teachers, Parent-Teacher Week, we're the ones you want in your class. We bring gifts every day. We really support. I come from a background in education, actually special needs education. So this is particularly hard for me to say because I know how hard so many teachers and so many of the staff work. It's tough because we aren't even informed of like Spirit Week activities that actually kind of both me and one of the other moms who's actually with my son right now, even hearing it was Spirit Week, we didn't even know. We weren't even, and that's hard because we love when our kids get to engage and spend time with typical kids. It really makes a huge difference for all of us. Our children are at risk, and right now our school doesn't seem to be addressing the seriousness of the situation, so we're coming to you. Our children are funny, kind, I might cry during this, I'm sorry. Our children are funny, kind, creative, athletic, smart, and silly, and they deserve the same respect as the rest of the children at Rancho. They deserve a stable education, they deserve safe classrooms, and they deserve to be supported. Our community needs help, and we hope that you can hear us and be willing to help us make change to strengthen our school and to show up for our children. We love this district so much, and we want to fight to make it better, and we want to fight to make this school better. And we really hope at some point we can meet with you guys and address it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, next we have our consent agenda. So we have items 8A through N, and remember that 8I, the contract is in our board packet and then up in the back. Any questions or comments about 8A through N? All right,
I had a question about the Chess for Kids independent contractor.
yeah, go ahead.
So it says the contractor's name is Chess for Kids. Is there more than one, or is there a single person?
2 people.
2 people? Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay,
Just, it says Chess for Kids is the name, and then there's a single signature, so how
Okay.
big is the organization?
okay. All right, can I get a motion to approve 8A through N?
I move.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with 1 absence. All right, next we have educational services. All right, item 9A is a public hearing to solicit the recommendations and comments of the public regarding the purpose of determining the sufficiency of textbook or instructional materials in the following subject area: mathematics, history, social science, and reading language arts. The floor is now open for public comment. Hearing none, then we will move on to our Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Jamal Fields, will present item 9B, Resolution 2025-7, determining sufficiency of instructional materials.
Thank you. Education Code 60119 requires the district governing boards hold a public hearing and then make a determination of sufficiency of textbooks and instructional materials. We have provided appropriate and sufficient textbooks and materials, and we hope that you will pass the resolution tonight.
Great. Any questions or discussion?
Yeah, I did have a question on this about the fiscal implications. Now that the state has adopted the LCFF, the district no longer receives any funding contingent on adopting this resolution. That is not that's just a statement of fact, not a recent change, correct? Okay, just want to make sure.
Any other questions? All right, can I get a motion to approve Resolution 2025-7, determining sufficiency of instructional materials?
I'll motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Martin,
Aye.
Trustee Nelson,
Aye.
Trustee Wing.
Yes. All right. Next up, we have the presentation of redesign and reclassification criteria. Hello.
Good evening, Superintendent Uturi, our Board of Directors, and our other staff that are present at this meeting. In this presentation, I'm going to be offering up what we would like as revised reclassification criteria for our multilingual learners. To start with, I would like to go over what reclassification is so that we're all starting on the same baseline of understanding. When a student enters our district, they are given the home language survey, which will give them either a status of to be determined or English only based on what the parents input in that survey. If a student is given a status of to be determined, they are given the initial LPAC exam. They're given either a status of English learner or initial fluent English proficient by the LPAC exam. Those who are designated as English learners go through a process called reclassification following 4 criteria. And once they complete that reclassification process, they're reclassified as fluent English proficient. Our goal today is to go over what our current reclassification criteria is and how we'd like to adjust it starting for the 24-25 school year. Our current reclassification criteria has 4 components to it. The first criteria is set by the CDE, and a student must receive a score of 4 on the summative LPAC exam. All of our multilingual learners take the summative LPAC starting in spring. This criteria is unchangeable. It is set by the CDE. We can't do anything about that one. The second criteria is teacher evaluation. Currently, we have students in kindergarten through 5th grade receiving a score of 3 or higher for speaking, reading, and writing grades, and our students in 6th through 12th grade receiving a C- or better in an English course. Criteria 3 is parent consultation. We either hold a parent consultation meeting or a phone call. We try and refrain from doing parent consultation via email just so it has that more personal component to it. Our fourth and final criteria is a basic skills relative to English proficient students. Currently, we have our kindergarten through 2nd graders needing to meet the 40th percentile or higher on STAR Early Literacy, and our 3rd through 12th graders need to meet the 40th percentile or higher on STAR Reading, or receive a score of 3 on SBAC or the California Alternative Assessment for ELA. The changes we are proposing are to criteria 2 and 3 combined and to criteria 4. For criteria 2 and 3, we'd like to add an alternative option called the OPTEL. It stands for Observation Protocol for Teachers of English Learners. It is a document that's been put forth by the CDE and our Sonoma County Office of Education. It entails the teacher or a staff member observing our English learner in their natural class environment and giving them a grade on how they are performing in regards to the ELD standards. They would need to have at least 2 observations done and to receive a level 3 out of 4 on the OPTEL. The other criterion change that we would like to make is we would like to change the 40th percentile to the 35th percentile for both STAR Early Literacy and STAR Reading. When we were making these decisions, we used data-driven decision-making to kind of facilitate these changes. We compared our current criteria with that of 7 other districts in the state of California who also use STAR as a component of their reclassification. We also evaluated our current student STAR scores in comparison to our English-only students to make sure that we're being equitable in what we're requiring of our multilingual learners. For example, if our English-only students are not able to, on average, meet the 40th percentile, it wouldn't exactly be fair to ask our multilingual learners to also meet that percentile to reclassify. Our consideration of implementation of OPTEL was based on recommendation by our Sonoma County Office of Education. This is something they've been pushing forward, and it's something we expect to possibly become mandatory in the future. So we want to get a jump start on it so that our staff and our ELD coordinators are familiar with it if that qualification does come down. Finally, we met with educational partners, including parents, teachers, EL assistants, and principals to get their input on what they felt was fair reclassification criteria. If we are to change these criteria, it will benefit our multilingual learner students. Our reclassification criteria will be in complement with what our students who are already fluent in English can achieve. Our students will avoid burnout associated with long-term English learners. Our students who are long-term English learners have been in that status for 6 years or more, and at the 6-year mark, we see a drastic drop in their percent of chance to reclassify. They're no longer invested in reclassification, and we want to make sure that they're able to be reclassified before they reach that point. Our students starting in 6th grade, so middle school and high school, are also required to take an ELD course if they are classified as a multilingual learner. There is a waiver that they can use to take an alternate course, but this reduces their chances of completing CTE pathways and engaging in courses that they're actually interested in. And finally, our student reclassification will be based on English language development and not necessarily depend on non-class grades. Our hope with the OPTEL, with this observation aspect of it, is that if a student is struggling in their class due to anxiety on tests or inability to turn in homework, they will not be punished in reclassification. And finally, for our rollout process, we plan to share this with principals. We plan to share this with our EL assistants who are integral in the reclassification process. We will also be sharing this with our educational partners through our September DLAC meeting. We'll be training staff on OPTEL process and evaluation. And we'll have our end of year celebration for our reclassified students, just as we did this past year. During this past year, we were able to reclassify 121 students into Cotati Roanoke Park, and we just hope to see that number improve. I'd like to open up for any questions on this revision to reclassification.
Is it ever the case that there's resistance from the student? I mean, most of the time we hear, especially as they get older, that they would rather be taking electives than be in ELD. But is there ever any student resistance to being reclassified?
Not that I've seen. If I ever see resistance, it's usually if a student was designated as initially fluent English proficient and a family has felt that they wanted the English learner services.
I see. The family, not the student.
Correct. Usually it's a young student.
Trustee Nelson, do you have any questions?
Yes, so the 35%, so you're saying this will be equitable with the other students, the English students, they only need 35% to be efficient. Is that what you're saying?
Sort of what we did to find that 35th percentile is we evaluated our different groups within Cotati Roanoke Park and on average how they were performing on STAR early literacy and STAR reading. On average, we found that Cotati Roanoke Park students who were English only were performing around the 35th percentile. So we wanted to make sure that our reclassification criteria was actually equitable with what our students are currently achieving.
So right now, we're asking the English language learners to do 40%.
We would be asking them to outperform our English-only students.
That's what we're doing now, right? Is 40?
Correct.
And we're trying to lower it to 35.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So it says on the one where it's like we're going to move 2 and 3 together. For grades 6 through 12, they have to get a C- or better, which would be like a 68%. And then you want to switch it to scoring a level 3 out of 4. So now you're asking them to score a 75.
So we want to include Optel as an option, but not as a requirement. If a student is still passing their English course with a C- or better, they'd still be able to reclassify using that criteria. Where the Optel comes into play is if a student is failing their classes due to like missed work or just anxiety on tests, we don't want that to affect the reclassification, especially if they're already fluent in English.
And if I heard you correctly, you said when you were saying you were using the data-driven decision-making, did you say there's 7 other districts doing it this way?
I found 7 other districts in California that were using STAR as their reclassification criteria. Mostly I was using what they were posting on their district websites.
So what are, there's there's just 40 districts in Sonoma County. So what are the other districts using?
There's a variety. For that local assessment, it is completely locally based. So some districts use a test called iReady. Some just use SBAC scores. Some use locally created assessments. There is no standardized assessment for criteria 3.
Okay.
Or criteria 4, excuse me.
But number 1 is a state thing, the ELPAC, that has to be done. LPAC, okay.
Correct.
All these acronyms kill me, but okay. All right. And then how, you said that this will move students through more efficiently. How much do we think the average is going to come down by?
When we were looking at the numbers of like those students who were held back within this past year just based on their STAR scores or grades, it was not a massive number of students, but where we were seeing the kind of trend is that students were getting a 36 or a 37 on STAR and then giving up because they were only 3 points off and they felt that like they only had those 3 points but they had failed.
Okay. Perfect. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Sure.
Dr. Fields, will we be bringing this back for the board to vote on at a later date after we gather some more information from the other educational partners, or does the board not have to approve this?
We were hoping for approval today, but it looks like we left that off.
Okay. So we'll be coming back with it for your approval.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. All right. Presentation of professional development.
So at our last meeting, there was a question about our professional development. The board had an interest in learning what had happened with our professional development. So this is a response to that. So you can hear, there was some amazing work done this summer, so we're excited to share it with you.
Great.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Cotati Roanoke Park Unified School District, staff, students, families, and community members. My name is Amelia Circo, and this is Kristen Lassell. We are your curriculum specialists here in the district, working in the Educational Services Department underneath Dr. Fields, and we are here tonight to present to you the professional development that's been going on in our district since beginning of summer. To begin with, last year, throughout the 23-24 school year, we had a science adoption for our TK through 8 grades. Through that process, both our TK through 5 as well as our 6 through 8 bands decided unanimously to pick McGraw-Hill. So we have a through line in all of our schools from TK through 8 with McGraw-Hill curriculum for science. We offered 3 different sessions of professional development to ensure that all of our teachers would be trained. June 10th, we had 54 teachers trained in that same grade span, TK through 8. August 6th, we had teachers voluntarily come and train as well. 60 teachers were trained on that date. And then on August 12th, for those teachers that did not want to choose to do it voluntarily, they had the option then on their work day to be able to do it within their contract. And we trained the remaining 23 teachers. We have implementation check-ins throughout the school year, once a trimester, October 24th, February 27th, and May 1st, for teachers to be able to come together, collaborate, discuss the implementation, and next steps that may be needed.
On August 12th, we had a professional development for all of our certificated employees. It was held here at Rancho, and it was conference style. This chart is an example of what their options were for session 1, and they had 3 sessions. Most of the sessions were very similar, just a few changes here and there. If you do want to look at the PowerPoint later, those are live links, so you can look to see what it was that they attended. It was very well received. A lot of the teachers appreciated the ability to choose where they were going to go for the day. They also appreciated that at the end of each session, there was a collaboration session so that they could be with the people in their session and discuss how to best implement it into their classrooms.
The following day, August 13th, we provided a professional development day for all of our classified staff. For a majority of the staff, it was not a work day, and so it was voluntary for them to come in. We invited about 146 classified staff members, and we had 98 classified staff members attend. They were a part of Laura Muehlman, who was also a trainer on the previous day, on August 12th, with the teachers, and she went over safe, positive, and restorative ways to be able to perform their duties. They were looking at supervising children, being active, how to engage in conversations with the students, and as well as Laura Muehlman is also at LCSW, and she specializes in providing that coaching and the consultation to schools, and we really got a lot of positive feedback from that day.
Another group that we're working with is First Water Consulting. They were also on August 12th. 2 of the sessions were by them, uncovering our unconscious bias and culturally responsive teaching. They were also at our leadership training and did some bias and education with us. They will also be at January 6th for the next teacher professional development. They also are going to be at a couple of our leadership meetings on September 26th, October 30th, and February 13th for continued bias education.
On July 31st, the first day of our leadership summit, Savior 6 consulting company came in and they trained our district leadership on Title VI, which is basically ensures that students' rights to an education free from discrimination. And they were able to provide that training for us to ensure that all of our district leaders have that under their belt for the start of the year.
This summer, we had a Be Glad cohort. which is promotes English language development and academic achievement. We had 26 teachers participate in the cohort this summer. They spent about 5 weeks watching videos, learning new techniques, and having sessions with us, which we debriefed. This year, we have monthly cohort meetings. We actually had one today before this meeting with a couple of teachers to discuss how we're implementing the Be Glad strategies within our classroom currently and how we can add more strategies as the year goes on.
The NOAA science training, the principal from University Elementary, Christina Lundy, is overseeing this. She's been doing it for the past 3 years. This is under the premise of the Students Understanding People's Environments and Resources Super Program. It's basically an initiative for teachers focused on environmental literacy. Over the 3 years, they've stayed pretty consistent with their numbers. Some of those numbers each year are some returning teachers, but the majority, I checked in with Ms. Lundy today, the majority are new teachers that are being trained every year. So it's an exciting program as well.
This year we had a new initiative of CRP USD 101. We wanted to give the new teachers to our district a better idea of the curriculum that they're going to be using within their classroom. We had 34 teachers attend by August 7th. We had trainings on things such as Power Schools, MTSS, and all of their curriculum. We have monthly cohort meetings going throughout the year. Our first one is going to be on September 19th, so we can continue meeting with the new teachers, see if they have any specific needs in terms of professional development, and answer any questions that they may have.
Kristen, I have a quick question about the 101.
Yeah.
So at the last meeting, we were told there's like 55 new teachers, and so 34 have attended this. Is this an optional program for
It
new
was
teachers?
optional, so we invited every single new teacher, and the ones that chose to come, it was 34 of them.
Okay.
And we did invite TK through 12, so it was any grade level.
So so there's like 20 teachers that may not know those things. So how do we get those 20 teachers up and?
So we still send these invitations to them. We still reach out to them personally. We still extend ourselves. And then the next slide, if you don't mind if I go to.
Yeah, go ahead.
The next slide. So we also have 2 new instructional coaches in our district, and we wanted to provide a face to the name. Kyoko Nakano and Brett Wilson. They are instructional coaches across the band, TK through 12, and so we've also asked them to extend out and to reach out and to be able to provide supports and offer supports to those, to all of our new teachers as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So some of the CRP USD, like Power Schools, it's probably pretty important that all of our teachers know how to use that. Is there a requirement that, like, do we have new employee, like, check-ins, like, by X date, you should know how to use these systems, and by X date, you should know how to use those? Or is it just, good luck, I hope you figure out Power School by the end of the school year, your parents are going to be really mad at you?
So when it comes to the student information systems, so that's where we worked very closely with Lystra.
Okay.
And so Lystra has a slide deck. So that's where we also make them available for them. But we will also Lystra will do one-on-one training with them on the student information systems. Kristen and I can come in as well as and support. Brett and Kyoko can also come in. Kyoko has been a teacher in the district for about 20 plus years, so she understands the systems as well.
Okay.
Any of those items that you see listed there under CRP USD 101, any one of the people on the educational services team can provide support and direction in any one of those.
Additionally, one of the things, teachers can self-refer for the coaches. They can say, hey, I need some help in an area, but also so can principals.
Okay.
So if there's somebody who doesn't know how to use the systems that we have in place, the principal can also get them some help with our coaches.
Okay.
And can I also clarify that of those, although we want people to participate, of those 55 new hires, they may not all be new teachers. So some may have had some experience with those systems in other districts. But it would be great if everyone was participating, but there may be reasons why some of those other folks aren't. They may already have some of that system done. And also, correct me if I'm wrong, that's 34 that showed up to the first one. They could drop into the next one if they wanted to, right? They don't have to go to all of them.
Nope, and we are making sure that we send that communication out so they know that they are welcome at any point in time that they feel that they want to be a part of the group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
In terms of our future professional development, we have the January 6th. That's going to be another certificated professional development day that we're working on. We currently have the CAPS network going with SCO for TPA, TMS, LJMS, John Reed, Monte Vista, and I believe also Tech High should be on that list. That is, I believe our first meeting is on Thursday. Yes. We're working again with the Mimeo STEM 3D to get some follow-up training for the 3D printers. And in terms of ongoing, we have a lot of our monthly meetings that we had mentioned. We also have EL assistant meetings. We have our weekly principal meetings and our leadership monthly meetings.
Are the 3D printers, are those the ones they have at Tech Metal?
Yes, those,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's one of them, yes,
Okay, good.
yeah.
There are lots of them across the district.
I just remember when we met with Josh, he was brand new to the school, so please don't like hold this against him now. He's like, no one here knows how that works. So I'm glad that we're giving them training so they can use these really cool
Yes.
technology.
And that's why we're doing the training.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Can I also mention that we have a professional development committee that's been helping, we're working in collaboration with our labor partners and our administrative team to help design this for all our district staff. And I think that that's really helped in making sure that we're providing relevant opportunities for our staff.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. And one of the things we're doing, we're working with our IPSIA partners to try and make sure that we are meeting the teachers' needs, but then also speaking to administrators and other folks to make sure if there's something that comes up that we need professional development in, we can deliver it.
And then this is very focused on like teachers and people who have direct one-on-one daily interaction with students. How do we do our professional development for like our IT staff and our janitorial staff and new up-and-coming things with that? Is that part of our umbrella, or does each department kind of handle their own? If there's, I mean, technology is constantly changing, and I'm sure there's new rules with janitorial and things like that.
Yeah, so each department leads their own professional development. Now, I think we could probably come back and give you more information about how it's handled in each department, because I know food services has their specific trainings that they go to. Custodial and maintenance has theirs. It's a good question, and I'd like to hear it. I'd like to hear the answer myself, so we can come back with what our other departments are doing that are non-instructional, that are our support teams.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I had a question about attendance also. Outside of the initial meetings that you have, when you have those cohorts, do you see that attendance is stable? Do a lot of people come back to attend those?
Well, we just had our very first cohort meeting today, and so we haven't, the other ones, they haven't actually fallen into place yet, because they're going to be in the month of September for the first month. But the one today had about half.
Okay, so this is the first year we've had the professional development.
First time,
Got
yeah.
it.
We did get a lot of responses though they had other responsibilities that they couldn't make it. You know, can I come the next month? It's wide open at any time, and we're making sure we communicate that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did we do before? Did we have professional development in the past?
We didn't have it like this. It's a little different, and this is an area we started these initiatives because we felt there was a need. As Michelle mentioned before, if you were a new teacher, your principal and your grade level team was responsible for helping bring you on board, and we wanted to make it something a little more formal and a little more across the board.
That's awesome.
So that's what all of the cohorts are about and the ongoing stuff. We're trying to make sure that we have a robust system of support that teachers can access if they need it, and as well as administrators can direct that as well.
That's great.
There are a lot of studies about the way people learn, how adults learn, and sometimes these shotgun approaches, or there's like one and done kind of opportunities, are not as effective as like this ongoing. Like that's why the cohort model, we've developed that with the Be Glad model, because it is in the moment opportunities. It's time to reflect with your colleagues. So we're finding that the teachers that's resonating with our teaching staff. The menu approach for the conferences, it was really important that teachers had some choice, and that they found things that were important and helped fill the needs that they had. So I'm really impressed with what the Ed Services staff has been able to put together in collaboration with folks. But that kind of cohorted model is really, a lot of studies and a lot of research is saying that's really the best way to go to help teachers with ongoing, long, sustainable change.
And I just want to share lastly regarding the cohort model, Kristen and I are both seeing that people are requesting if they can be a part of the cohort next year because they saw their colleagues come into their sites with these new practices and strategies, and they're interested in it, and they wanted to know, when can I be a part of it?
Great. I'm very excited, so it's very cool. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you.
All right, Personnel Services. Item 10A, approval of the revision of the General Education Instructional Assistant job description.
So this went through our recent negotiations. We had to make some adjustments. We are welcoming our youngest learners into our TK classrooms, and we needed to add toileting accidents to our job description because we've got some young ones coming in for us at TK.
Great. Any questions? Can I get a motion to approve the revision of the General Ed Instructional Assistant job description?
Move.
Can I get a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. Approval of provisional internship permit at Lawrence Jones Middle School.
Yes, we have, we've brought many PIPs forward to you. Our special education team is busy hiring, and we have a former paraprofessional who is on a PIP for us at LJ, and we're asking for your approval.
Great. Any questions? Can I get a motion to approve the provisional internship permit at Lawrence Jones Middle School?
I move.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. Item C, revision of certificated management salary schedule.
Yes, we had two items that needed correcting on the certificated management schedule. We had longevity pay is annually, not monthly, and that needed to be corrected. And I believe also there was should say assistant middle school principal on one of the steps. So we are asking that both of those items be corrected.
Any questions? Right. Can I get a motion to approve 10C, revision of certificated management salary schedule?
I'll motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. There's no business and operation services, so next, fiscal update and planning.
I have my first enrollment update for you for the year. Very exciting. Compared to the end of last year, we have over 200 more kids, which is within 5 kids of what we were planning on and how we staffed this year, even though we continue to add more staff. So 102 more kids in elementary, 21 less in middle school, and 137 in high school, additional. And starting next month, I'll have that entry and exit report for you. We need to start somewhere, and this is the month we start. Any questions?
Any other questions? All right. Approval of the 23-24 unaudited actual financial report.
Yes.
I don't see it on here.
It's in the board meetings if you need it there.
Okay. We're having some technical
no
difficulties.
worries.
Can we take a break?
Yep, let's take a 5-minute break, quick. Don't forget your mics.
Okay.
All right, everyone, nice to see you, board members and staff. My name is John Bartolome. I'm here to present the unaudited actuals for the close of last year, 2023-24. So just to put this in perspective, you know, we work all year, present to you several times what the budget's going to be, you know, make all kinds of assumptions, but this is the culminating report that closes out last year. So I just wanted to be clear that we're talking about last year, and I'm not going to even talk about this year's budget, 24-25. So what are the unaudited actuals? You know, we've prepared year-end financial statements as of June 30th. That's our last day of the fiscal year. It's a report of all the activities and all the funds, identifying unspent funds or reserves that are carried forward into future years. And this information is used by external auditors to prepare our official audit report. And they'll be finalizing their data gathering in November to have a report for you at the end of November, and hopefully we'll have a report to you in January. So, and as always, when we adopted the budget, there's a part of that report that estimates how we're going to close this year, so the comparisons will be made against that in this report. So again, the books have been closed, entries have been prepared, revenues received that was not anticipated, and expenditure allocations or budgets were not completely used or overspent would be some common reasons for differences. So this is what our revenue was for the year, unrestricted revenue of just over 79 million, and a combined revenue of just under 100 million. The overwhelming majority obviously is coming from the local control funding formula. Local revenue includes parcel tax, casino funds, foundation support, all the regular stuff. We had just over $62 million in expenditures in the unrestricted general fund and $102 million in expenditures overall in our general fund. 84% of our unrestricted revenue unrestricted expenditures went to salaries and benefits, and 75% of our overall general fund budget went towards salaries and benefits, which is pretty consistent for this district. So I just wanted to touch with a few slides about something you already approved, which I appreciate, the current expense of education requirement, or the Form CEA, which we didn't pass again this year, unfortunately. I don't believe we'll ever pass that again, based on how our budget is trending. But included in this calculation are the salaries and benefits of teachers and paraprofessionals paid out of the general fund, divided by the total general fund expenditures. So this is a legal requirement, and it's an antiquated analysis, if you ask me and anyone. But the required percentages by district type are here: elementary 60, high school 50, and unified district 55, and we did not hit the 55% threshold. And just pretty standing out here, unrestricted revenues for local control funding formula and initiatives to support students beyond classroom instructions have made it difficult for districts to meet the requirements. And I have a little self-analysis here at the end. This is more of the same information, just kind of said in a different way. And so why didn't we pass? This first line is pretty staggering, but special education non-public agency expenditures was 1.9 million. And what is that expenditure? That expenditure is, we go out to agencies to help us staff positions that we cannot fill on our own. 1.9 million. That's more than double than what we had budgeted for the positions in the first place. And that also affects another number I'll show you later. That the science adoption was about $1 million that we paid. With these two expenditures alone, not included in our expenditures, we probably would have passed the CEA. And the formula also ignores other costs necessary, like I was trying to make the point earlier, to educate children, including counseling, nurses, social workers, librarians, speech pathologists. All RIPSIA members don't count towards this passing of this form or analysis, and things like keeping the lights on and all our utility, those are not part of, those just count against us. And I think this is the last slide, sorry. you know, we're not the only district that's having trouble passing this form or requirement. And you can see in 22-23, almost 30% of unified school districts in the state of California aren't passing this analysis. So,
John, just out of curiosity,
Yeah.
why is there the difference so much between elementary, high, and unified?
I think, you know, it's just harder to pass. You know, more of your money goes towards other things in elementary than it would in a unified school district. Like the high school costs more to educate more than an elementary school. I think that. And it's a higher percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is the gist of the report, right? We're expecting to deficit spend in the unrestricted general fund almost $1.4 million as of June. There are some revenue changes. We got a little less LCFF funding because of the annual ADA that's counted towards the formula and a prior year state adjustment. That's not the greatest explanation, but that's what I had to inquire with the county about this because I was questioning this number myself. We received a little more lottery money than we were expecting, and the transportation income, the percentage that the state is now kicking in of the total amount reimbursable. Anyway, that was a nice number. I want you to keep this $715,000 number in your head for a slide down the line here, but ultimately, we did receive some interest income, facility use, credo fees increase, but there's this accounting entry. I'll try to explain it. There's this accounting entry, and it's just an accounting entry that is required of school districts now to just confuse everyone even more about our books. And it is a fair market value of our cash at the county level. So we have to make an entry. We made an entry at the end of last year of over $700,000. That was a negative to our ending balance. And we get to reverse that out this year at the beginning of the year. Then we have to make another, anyway. So you'll see another $700,000 adjustment the other way later. But that makes it look like our revenue was up $900,000, which kind of is and kind of isn't, you know. And then the opposite adjustment was in our expenditures, and you know, for the most part, we're within 1% of our budget in any one of these line items. I could talk about any one of them you want, but the contribution to the special ed shortfall is what I was asking you to remember earlier. You know, that $1.9 million that went to the agency was more than double than what we were expecting. And that's why the contribution to special ed was over $800,000, more than what we expected. But overall, we deficit spent less than what we were expecting. And the reason why it's negative in the first place is because we made that contribution for the network infrastructure of 1.5. So you take that out, and now we're, you know, a positive 700,000 if you think about it. If that wasn't confusing enough, let's keep moving on. So this is just the general fund summary. You know, we deficit spent $826,000 in our unrestricted, just under that in our restricted budget, which is money that we have already in the bank. That auto adjustment, $758,000, is what gets us to $4.8 million in our ending fund balance in the unrestricted general fund. After we hold some money aside for the site athletic vans that we purchased that we haven't paid for yet and or received, but we ordered them last year. Anyway, and you approved that, you remember, yeah. So that's going to cost $550,000. And then we have $3.6 million in our reserve for a total of 8% reserve total.
So
And the-
before the transfer to RRMA and special ed,
Oh, sure.
we were we were in a deficit of 2.5 million?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a regular transfer that we make. It was a little more than, it's generally been 700,000, but we receive some money from our property taxes to Fund 40 that we transfer into our routine restricted maintenance account on average, every year. And again, the restricted side of the budget is a budget that pays for itself, or we don't have those expenditures. So, the fact that we have $12 million in ending fund balance in the restricted budget means that we've already received money that we're continuing to spend. Does that make sense? All right, and then these are the balances in all our other funds. The food service department did a great job again this year. We're serving more meals than we ever have, and this year is no different. We added some savings or ending balance to that department's budget to the tune of $900,000, almost $1 million. We're spending, we're down to our last. Basically, it's all spent the last bond finally. We have some bills to pay and some signs to receive and put up for our campuses, and then capital facilities Fund 25 is our developer fees, and that'll go towards any of our future construction projects. And that's it. So I think I explained what's in the ending fund balance. We were projecting something a little less at adopted budget, but we actually came out a little ahead. And then it's, again, I always have to say that it's an increase or a better than what we were expecting. Ending fund balance in 23-24 is definitely good news. It's important to remember that, our fiscal solvency is based on a 3-year projection, and our fund balance is the first line of defense to weather uncertain future state budget windfalls. And as you know, that's what's going to get us through this year and the next. Any questions?
Any questions, Trustee Johnson?
So many questions. But one that I can, verbalize coherently is, so 8%, that's pretty good. I think you had projected that last year, so that's pretty good that we're still there. So I'm impressed with that.
Again, that was the plan. I talked about always having that to get us through the next 2 years at least, which we'll need, because I'm not talking about this year's budget, which is not good.
And that was with that 1.5 million thing thrown at you, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. But you won't be surprised by that next time?
No.
Okay.
It wasn't a surprise. It was a plan. It's
It was a plan.
we had the money to help support the plan to make our kind of monthly, yearly lower.
Gotcha.
Trustee Nelson or Trustee Martin? No? All right, thanks, John.
Yep.
All right, if there's no other discussion, can I get a motion to approve the 2023-2024 unaudited actual financial report?
Move that we approve 12B.
Can I get a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0, one absent. Item C, public disclosure and ratification of the 2024 to 2027 tentative agreement and collective bargaining agreement with Service Employees International Union, SEIU.
So we had successful bargaining, as was mentioned by President Wigmore, with our SEIU labor partners, and we are asking for approval of the agreement.
Any questions or comments? When Bryna was here, she was saying thank you to the district for participating in IBB. And on behalf of the board, I would like to say thank you to SEIU for agreeing to, because it takes two sides to agree to it. So thank you for going through the training and everything. Can I get a motion to approve the public disclosure and ratification of the 2024-2027 tentative agreement and collective bargaining agreement with Service Employees International Union, SEIU?
I move.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absent. Item D, CRP USD and Roanoke Park Cotati Educators Association proposal to negotiate reopeners to the 2024-2027 collective bargaining agreement.
Yes, this is very exciting. We have collectively decided the items to open, and we're asking for your approval on the articles for negotiations this year.
Any questions? Can I get a motion to approve the CRP USD and RIPSIA proposal to negotiate reopeners to the 24-27 collective bargaining agreement?
I'll motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absent. Item E, Resolution 2025-5, recognizing October 13th, 2024 through October 19th, 2024 as Week of the School Administrator.
Yes, our school administrators are hardworking individuals, and we're asking for this resolution to honor their work.
Great. Can I get a motion to approve Resolution 2025-5, recognizing October 13th, 2024 through October 19th, 2024 as Week of the School Administrator?
Move that we approve 12E.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Martin?
Aye.
Trustee Nelson?
Aye.
Trustee Wing?
Yes. Next up, Resolution 2025-6, adopting the actual GON limit for the 2023-2024 fiscal school year and the projected GON limit for the 2024-2025 fiscal year.
And I'm going to ask our CBO to explain that one.
So this is an annual resolution that you approve for the GAN limit, which is the appropriations limit or expenditure limit that's set forth by the state of California. And in this case, we are not in excess of the appropriations limit or the expenditure limit set forth by this based on the data that's in this report, and we're asking for approval.
Great. Any questions? Can I get a motion to approve Resolution 2025-6, adopting the actual GON limit for the 2023-2024 fiscal year and the projected GON limit for the 2024-2025 fiscal year?
I move.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Martin?
Aye.
Trustee Nelson?
Aye.
Trustee Wing?
Yes. Items G through K are first readings of board policies and administrative regulations. Are there any questions or comments or discussion on item G through K? All right, here we go. Item G, first reading of board policy and administrative regulation 1312.3, uniform compliant procedures. Item H, first reading of board policy and administrative regulation 5145.3, non-discrimination and harassment. Item I, first reading of board policy and administrative regulation 5145.7, sex discrimination and sex-based harassment. Item J, first reading of administrative regulation and exhibit 1, 5145.71, Title 6, sex discrimination and sex-based harassment complaint procedures. That might be Title 4. That's Title
9.
4, huh?
Title 9.
Title 9. Okay. Good thing Roman numerals aren't part of the test. All right. Item K, first reading and board policy 5146, married, pregnant, and parenting students. For items L through V, some are first readings and we are waiving the second readings, and then others are second readings. Is there any questions or discussions about any of those?
Why are we waiving the second reading? There's several of them.
Yeah, some of them, it's because we can, right? Why
I'm
do we
going to
waive
need
the
some help
second
on this
reading?
one. Why are we waiving?
I think you have it right, because we can.
Yeah, it's because some of them you're allowed to, and my understanding is that we want to get them in board policy faster than if we were to do the first and then wait to do the second.
Okay, so it's my understanding that a lot of time the second reading is so that there's room for public comment, so,
Mhm.
but on these, we don't need to do that.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready? And we could have, if someone saw this on the agenda, they could come in and say, I don't want this, and then the board could decide if they want to vote on it or table it, so. All right. I make a motion to approve item L, the first reading and waive second reading of BPAR 6142.7, physical education and activity. Can I get a second?
I'll
I s-
second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Item M, I make a motion to approve the first reading and waive second reading of BPAR 6159, individualized education program policy. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absent. I make a motion to approve item N, second reading of board policy in exhibit 0420.41, charter school oversight. Can I get a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absent. I make a motion to approve item O, second reading of board policy administrative regulation in exhibit 1113, district and school websites. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absent. I make a motion to approve item P, second reading of board policy 1260, educational foundation. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absent. I make a motion to approve item Q, second reading of board policy and administrative regulation 5113, absences and excuses. Can I get a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absent. I make a motion to approve item R, second reading of board policy and exhibit 5145.6, parent and guardian notifications. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absent. I make a motion to approve item S, second reading of board policy 6000, concepts and roles. Can I get a second?
I second.
Whoa.
Sorry.
You're gonna have to Rochambeau for that one. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absent. I make a motion to approve item T, second reading of board policy and administrative regulation 7214, general obligation bonds. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 4-0 with one absent. I make a motion to approve item U, second reading of board bylaw and exhibit 9220, governing board elections. Can I get a second?
I'll
Aye.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absent. All right, this is your last chance. I make a motion to approve item V, second reading of board bylaw 9223, filling vacancies. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. Item W, acceptance of gifts and donations to school and district.
Thank you. So we want to thank our donors. John Reed, school supplies, Denise Becerra, a value of $200. For Marguerite Hahn, James and Carrie Claxton, $100. And Marguerite Hahn, Anita Jackson, $50. Those are in honor of the teacher, retired teacher who passed. Rancho Cotati High School, Danielle Reed, $31. John Reed, monetary donation for outdoor ed from Roche Automotive for $150, a total of $531. Thank you to our community.
Yes, thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the acceptance of gifts and donations to school and district?
I move.
Can I? Oh, you did the first. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. Any future business and agenda items? Trustee Johnson?
None.
Trustee Nelson?
I do have high expectations for September 19th. It's not very often that you get to hear a favorite, but I just want, yeah,
That's going to be fun.
that'll be nice.
Trustee Martin?
Nothing.
All right. There's no need to convene a closed session, so this meeting is adjourned at 7:41.
Well done.